Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be showing you how to add an elastic band to your unit, and with me here I have a 13 by 4 lace frontal unit, and this is Swiss lace, so it is stretchable and light and thin. So you're going to need to have, of course, your wig. You're going to need elastic band. You can use different sizes of elastic band, so it could be this size, or you can also go in with a size like this. So you can also choose to go in with this type of elastic band that has straps onto it, or you can just go in with a normal roll and just cut out. So there is a few ways that you can cut this out, so I'll show you. The first thing you want to do is you want to measure this. So when you take your wig, when you take the wig and put it on your head, you want to find the center of the wig and not the line that is in here, but you want to see that both the flaps or the sides of the lace are balanced properly. That way you know that they're equal sizes or equal space in between both. You want it to be equal on both sides. You don't want one side to be like this and another one like this. No. So what you want is you want it to be equal on both sides. You want to pull that forward. And if you are a beginner, I would advise getting a Sharpie or something like that and marking off. But I ran out of a Sharpie, so I'm going to try to use a blue pencil that I have. Okay, so what you will do is, once you figure out where your middle part is, now you need to figure out where your ear stops. Okay, so once you have that, you can try and hold that with your finger, or you can go ahead and flip it and kind of mark it there with the pencil so that you see where it's going to sit. Okay, you do the same thing to this side, figure out where your ear stops, and then you mark it with your finger. So you want to hold it like this, turn it, and then mark it. So once that is done, you'll take the unit off, and now we're going to go into what I would say is maybe the complex part, but it shouldn't be because it's absolutely easy to do. So what you want to do is you want to take your elastic band, and now we've already decided that our wig is going to be seated right above our ears. That's where the lace is going to be seated, right above the ears. So now we're going to take our elastic band and we're going to put it right above our ears. So you will notice that I'm not stretching the elastic band at all. I'm holding it right where it would sit without any stretch to it. But you don't want to just cut it like that, because if it doesn't hold, if there's no stretch, then it's not going to be tight enough. So initially what I like to do is, when I figure out where I'm going to place my lace, I will then go in and cut it. But there is one more thing I want to explain before I go ahead and cut. You have to know the placement of your unit. So the purpose of this video is mostly for the people who do not want to wear their wigs with glue. And because of that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be showing you the placement. I'm going to be going in and showing you the placement of your elastic band if you do not plan to wear your wig with glue. Of course, the placement is different if you plan to wear your wig with glue, or if you plan to wear your wig with somewhat glue and somewhat no glue. It's a little bit complex, but no glue means absolutely no glue. It means that the sides of your lace are going to be absolutely cut off. Usually, if you're wearing your wig without glue, you'll find that it's laying really nice and flat at the front all the way to the sides, but you will not have your side bands out in any sort of way. So usually your hair will be laying flat by the sides, straight down or by the sides, and it will be covering your ears half the time. If you plan to wear your wig with glue, then you realize that most of the times you can play around with your parting. You can have the hair going all the way back, you can have the hair sideways and a bit of the ears showing, because everything is laid back and slick. Usually with this, the lace frontal is coming all the way down to your side bands and is properly laid down. When it's half-half, that is half elastic and half glue, that means that some places will be laying down nice and flat with the help of the elastic, but some places will need a little bit of glue. So for this video, I'm going to be going in and showing you the placement without glue whatsoever, because that has been the most requested. So with that being said, let's dive into it. So after you finished measuring your lace, your elastic, and you now know where it's going to be sitting, we have to figure out the placement for the elastic band when you don't want to wear your wig with glue. So this is how the lace frontal looks like on the inside. I hope this is clear. So if you sit your wig on here, if we only cut it right above here, right above, let's say at the tip of our ear, you're going to leave the side bands out, but we don't want that because we're going to be wearing the wig with no glue. So that means all this flap here is going to be going off entirely. So I'm going to be putting it right there. Okay? So I'll take my elastic, I'll put it there like that. So about 1 centimeter away from the tip of my ear. And now I'm going to stretch it a little bit. So when you're stretching, you want to see that when you hold it like this, it's not too tight and it's also not too loose. The other way you can do it, that maybe will be easier for some people, is you just take it without any sort of stretch. You hold it and then you cut off 2 centimeters. Usually, many people do that. So if I took off 2 centimeters, it would be a nice, comfortable fitting. So now I'm going to take my pair of scissors and I'm going to cut that off. And now you'll have something like this. And if I hold that there, it'll be nice and firm. If you find that cutting the elastic like this is a bit complex, then just go ahead and buy something like this. I like these ones because they have this adjustable thing here that you can go in and always switch and change about. So you don't really need to do much cutting. And I'm going to be using this one because I find it easier. And anytime I want it to be tighter, I will just go ahead and tighten it. So they already come pre-cut like this, so you don't really need to do anything much. But if you really feel the need to go in and cut a little bit more, you could cut out maybe 1 centimeter or so on each side. So I'll just take 1 centimeter off on one side and about 1 inch off on the other side. So I usually just go in with my sewing machine because it makes life so much easier. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be taking a needle and a thread and I'm going to sew. When you're sewing, if you're using this elastic, you don't really mind about the direction in which you're sewing. But because I'm going to be using this adjustable strap, you want this to be on the outside. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to try to pay attention to where or the way that I'm sewing. So now I'm placing it right where I put my mark and I'm going to start to sew. So now that we have our elastic nice and sewn, the next step is going to be to adjust it to a fitting that is comfortable for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to pull that to something that I think would be nice and snug for me. So I also usually go ahead and add a comb to the bottom, which I will do shortly. But for now, let me show you how this is fitting. So now you see that the ears are kind of standing because this is what we are going to be cutting all of. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this off and I'll come back and I'll show you. This is how the wig is looking like now after I have cut and installed my elastic band, and you can see that this is totally glueless. And if you would like to hold your hair behind, you could definitely just tuck it behind your ears and try to cover any type of excess lace, and that's how it would look like. Yes, but I'm going to be leaving it like this, and you can also go ahead and play around with your styling. If you like it more in the middle, you could go ahead and create your middle part. This is a Swiss lace wig and it's a lace frontal, so you can definitely play around with it. So that's the final look. Let me know what you guys think, and if you do try to install your own elastic band, I hope you get it right. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time.